What's up, scholars? We are on to part 2 of our climate justice project. This is the part where we introduce the climate. So part 1 was an overview about your disaster and generic information about your type of disaster. So for example, you maybe did drought or fires, wildfires, and so you would have provided both generic and specific information about that. As we move into part 2, I've updated the details, I've updated the resources with more information as I've found it, and I've also updated and created a new template for you. So let's look at what are the elements of this that you're going to be looking at. So you'll start with an overview. What's tricky about talking about climate change and disasters is that climate change is clear. CO2 is rising, temperatures are rising across the globe, but it turns out that what impact that's going to have on natural disasters, specific ones or ones in general, it's not that clear actually. So for example, I did quite a bit of research into hurricanes and climate change's effect on them, and the short answer to does climate change affect hurricanes is, well, probably. But what's not clear is that we don't know whether there's going to be more hurricanes, fewer hurricanes, whether those hurricanes are going to be stronger. That seems pretty clear. It seems also that it's going to be clear there's going to be more flooding and more rainfall. So anyway, this is a somewhat tricky topic, and you're going to fill in very similar kinds of details as before, but now we're going to shift our focus to climate change. So I want to point out a few things. So I've updated, here was part 1, I've updated part 2 of the slide. It's going to be due, you'll have 2 more class days to work on this, including both Monday and Thursday of next week. There's going to be, again, this Edpuzzle video to help introduce you to it, which will be worth practice points. And then you've got the details here. So you're going to provide an overview about climate and your disaster. And then we're going to do this game again where we're going to give generic information about the impacts of climate change, first on the planet. Then we want to talk about what do we know for sure about how climate change will affect your disaster. Then we want to talk about what we're not sure about. So I mentioned that already. There's some examples included here in the details. Then we'll shift our focus to talking about not climate change in general, but climate change specific to our disaster and specific to your type of disaster. So you'll just have a chance to read through those details there. And then at the end, what I'd like you to do is sort of make a conclusion after doing your research. What should people take away? What should we know? What lessons can be gained from learning about climate change and how it affected the region that was impacted by your disaster? And then, of course, as always, we'll include links to resources. Each slide is going to be worth 2 mastery points as before. Make sure you include a picture and links to those pictures. Try to avoid anything that's longer than 20 or 30 seconds in terms of videos or animations. And then finally, all the information must be in your own words. Keep in mind that I've updated the resource slide as I continue to find more information. I'll just continue to include links here, including lots and lots of climate change resources as we move forward. Last, I want to mention that I have created a template for you. So anything in red, I tried to do my best on this, you should change. So it says overview, climate and my disaster. Let's say you did the 2020 wildfires in California. You should change this to climate change and 2020 wildfires as an example. Here where it says my type of disaster, you would change this to wildfires and climate change. What is clear? So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. I'm going to be here helping you folks get your resources that you need, fill in your information. Thank you so much.